Hi, I'm Nicole.
I'm Geraldine.
I'm Lauren.
And we are
Doing the Damn Thing, an entrepreneurship talk show.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and I'm one of the co-hosts for Doing the Damn Thing. And today I'm going to be sharing you guys some tips of how to get interns. I know as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we all want interns. I've met a lot of business owners that are like, how do I do it and how do I manage them, and they're a little hesitant about it. So about 2 years ago, Epiphania Magazine, we decided as a business to have interns. We really wanted to bring on some people that could just help with some of the everyday tasks, but we also had to be mindful that we were following the laws. So in the state of California, you can have interns. They just can't be just getting coffee. They have to be learning a skill that will help them with their career. And two, you cannot be hiring interns because you want to save money and give them tasks that a CFO or CMO should be doing, right? So you have to find that nice balance in the middle. One of the reasons why I also wanted to bring on interns personally is I felt all my internships in college were great learning opportunities, and I wanted to give that to like young college students, because I know as college students you could get a little nervous and scared about going into the real world, and I just naturally like to nurture like younger students and make sure that they feel confident in their skill set, that they want to go into the real world with some confidence. So I know for my internships, I really valued everything I learned from those mentors. So I interned at a television station and at a magazine, so 2 media companies, and I thought they were great. Both of my internships were unpaid. I didn't mind that because the hours they were asking of me weren't crazy. I was still able to go to school and have a part-time job. I know a lot of people have horror stories about internships, but luckily for me, I didn't have those horror stories. I wanted these internships to be unpaid internships, and I also kept in mind we live in the Bay Area. So I wanted to make sure that the tasks I was giving them could be done within like 10 hours a week is what I asked them. So step one is figure out what type of internship you want to provide these interns. How many hours do you really need someone to be working for you? And if it's about 20 or plus hours, you then have to look at your budget and see how much you can pay them. And because especially if they have to commute to an office, they're going to be college students and they still have classes, and if you are taking up all their free time where they can't really work, then you have to give them some kind of payment, whether it is a bi-weekly paycheck or at the end of the internship a stipend. I know I had one internship like that. So you got to figure out what type of internship you want to provide them and what kind of leader you want to be. So look at your tasks, look at the departments. I knew I needed interns for social media and interns for editorial. And I also knew I wanted these interns to learn how to adapt their social media skills, because they grew up using social media, but how to adapt their skills and put it with the company's vision and voice. 2, look at your own time. A lot of people do want interns because yes, it could be like basically free labor, but you have to look at your own time and bandwidth. If you are a solo entrepreneur, do you have the time and energy to really explain your business to someone? Again, they're interns. They're probably going to be college students, and you're going to have to hold their hand for a good 2 months. And if you don't have the bandwidth to do that, or the skill set to do that, if that's just not something you could possibly do, then maybe you can't have an intern. Maybe you just have to suck it up and get like a consultant or something. And by suck it up, I mean find a budget and find the money to pay them. So again, 1, look at what type of internship you want to provide them. 2, if you could actually do this internship in the time that you have. 3, once you figure out, okay, this is the type of internship I want to give them, how many hours a week I want them to work, what kind of projects I want them to work on, what I want them to accomplish, how many months. 2, yes, I do have the time and the energy to actually train someone. This is going to work out for me. 3, the third step is figure out where do you want to get your interns. So I went to undergrad at San Francisco State. It's right across the bay. And I'm still pretty connected with a lot of my fraternity brothers. So that was my first stop. I'm like, I'm going to make this super easy, and I'm just going to contact my fraternity brothers and see if any of them want this internship. And it was amazing. I got a lot of people from the get-go. You could also just post on now Facebook Jobs for free. I found some really good interns that way. And then you could just post on your own social media channels and outreach to people. People are going to know people, college-age students. Some of my interns were actually, and this might be pretty helpful for some of you guys, some of my interns, when I posted on Facebook Jobs, were not college students. They were actually young professionals. They already graduated, early 20s. They've had their first job, but they were trying to make a career change, and they didn't have the background, right? So they wanted something in their portfolio. So they took on this internship in addition to them working their other side jobs to build up their portfolio so they could get a marketing job. So you never know what type of interns you're going to get. So that's my third step, is just outreach to, social media groups to get those interns. When you're like researching where to get these interns, make sure, going back to what type of internship you want to create, make sure you have it written down. Make sure you have the job description written down, so that way when you're outreaching to your friends and family about getting you interns, they have a specific one-sheeter that they could give people. Now, the fourth thing is, once you've gotten these people interested in internship, don't just be super grateful that everyone wants to be your intern. That's not the way to go. You are still running a business. When you're creating the internship, also create the internship interview process. So I wanted my interview process to be very similar to a lot of corporate interviews, because I wanted to give these college students at least a taste of how an interview process is. So the first interview is a quick 15-minute phone call. The second interview is an in-person interview, either with me, or if they, one of them was an editorial intern, so they did actually a Zoom internship interview with one of our editors who's on the East Coast. And then the final one is either a phone call or a Zoom or Skype interview with someone else that's on the team. So if they interviewed with my editor, then they'll interview with me. So that way they could learn how to talk to different people, and also learn the different process between interviewing over the phone, in person, or over a video call. And then after you do that, then you can decide the timeline of when they're going to start. So I made all my internships basically a scholastic semester, so 3-4 months. This is how many weeks. Now, the thing I most definitely learned from having interns, and pause, I want you guys to really, really listen, is that you are going to learn so much about yourself, of what type of leader you are and communicator that you are, basically. And so one of the lessons I learned is, I thought I was giving my interns, a lot of freedom, and I thought they would enjoy that freedom, right? It's 10 hours a week. They could do it remotely, or that we could work at a co-working space together, because I understand everyone has different school schedules and work schedules, and I wanted them to enjoy this internship. And I would just give them okay, at the end of your internship, this project has to be done. However you get this project done is how you get it done. But you have to do 10 hours a week, and here's a time, basically a time card. That didn't really work out for every personality. Again, they are young. They are still a little insecure in their capabilities, and that's totally okay, because we were all there once. So for a lot of them, and what I learned is that I had to give them weekly tasks, because they needed some structure, which I found really odd, because I'm not that way. I like having the freedom. A lot of my consultants like having that freedom. But again, I had to remind myself, they are younger. This is really maybe their first or second internship, or they're changing careers, so they need a little bit more structure. So keep in mind that the way you develop your internship program might not be the best way, and you're going to learn from the interns as well. So those are my tips of how to get interns and how to manage them. If you guys have any questions about internships or interns, or how to create it, please comment below and I will answer. Thank you so much. Bye.